And so welcome to the Gelding on our usual now Friday afternoon racing session, Gelding.
Yes, good afternoon, listeners, and good afternoon, Professor. Yeah, it just seems to fit in with the schedule at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Friday afternoons, and gives a bit of something to do to study the form.
yeah. Well, I think we seem to be having more luck going on Friday, so we'd better keep that up, I think. What we will ask the viewers to do is, if they like we always ask this, Gelding, if they like the video, then just down below us there's a nice little thumbs up sign. We want them to like the video. That helps with ratings. And also we want them to subscribe to the channel, because that means they will find out when anything that we do is on air. And we do quite a few things now this week, Gelding, because this is the second video I've done. One for the NRL's already gone up last night.
You're a very busy boy, Professor.
Yeah, well, very busy. I'll tell you what, with the giraffe, it's very difficult to get a time and date with him. And even when you've got the time and date, quite often you get a couple of text messages saying, can we put it back half an hour?
Is that the profession he's in, or is that just him?
I think
does he blame the profession he's in?
No, I don't think he blames the profession he's in, Gelding, so we'll just leave it to the viewers as to why there's a few reorganisations during the day.
So you're telling me the giraffe is high maintenance?
That might be unfair. That might be an unfair characterisation, Gelding. Difficult. How about that?
Difficult. I would have thought difficult's worse than high maintenance.
Oh, Gelding, it's worthwhile doing the show with him, because with a number of zingers, he's usually got me laughing during the show.
Oh, he's a very good boy. Is our giraffe.
All right, Gelding, racing's at Caulfield tomorrow in what I would call a very ordinary meeting.
Yes, coming up to winter, Professor. So, in the end of the season. So the highlight, of course, now turns to Adelaide with Group 1s there tomorrow. And, of course, then builds up into Queensland coming up in June. So, they're and a good average meeting, I would have said, Professor. Wouldn't mind some of the horses that are running around in it, though.
No, that's right, Gelding. All right, well, what we might say for the viewers is keep watching till the end, because Gelding might have a sneaky one or two selections for Adelaide tomorrow.
Oh, well, we've got a couple, so
all right, well,
we may be able to stir them into the right way, Professor, but
all right, well,
hopefully.
We'll go with Caulfield Day, Gelding, the 9-race program. The first at 12:10 p.m. The last is at 4:50 p.m, so we can get home before it's dark. The feature race 8, the Thoroughbred Club of Australia Handicap, a benchmark 100 race. The track's a good 4, Gelding. The rail's out 4 metres. Now, let me ask you this, Gelding. Given you're a member at the racecourse, will you be there tomorrow supporting with your winter woolies on?
No, Professor, but I will say there was discussions last night about us attending. So, and then I was told by the better half that we're a bit busy at the moment and a few expenses, so we might leave the races alone. So I'll be watching them from the comfort of the lounge tomorrow, Professor.
Well, maybe in later June or early July, you and I might look at getting to a meeting or two.
Oh, I think that's will certainly be the plan of attack.
All right, Gelding, what are your two best bets for Caulfield racing tomorrow?
Professor, I've left the early races for you, because I know how you like to go early, especially when it's my tip, my turn to put the bets on. So we'll leave that one. I did like one in the first, but I thought I'll let it go around and I'll see how we go. My first bet tomorrow, Professor, will be in race 6, horse 11, horse Mary Eliza. This horse, trained by your trainer Peter Moody and Kath Coleman, to be ridden by Luke Cartwright, and owned by New Zealand owners. The stud where we had a little bit of an interest, Professor, in early. I just forget the name of it at the moment.
The Waikato stud.
Waikato stud. That's
Yes,
right.
no, it came to me while you were mentioning it, Gelding. It just popped out of the memory bank.
Professor, you're spot on. As we can see from the photos up there, there's a couple there from Waikato stud in Del Rios and Danish Rock. Yep. So, we have purchased horses from them in the past. But
now,
tomorrow,
Gelding, sorry to butt in, but just before you keep going, a bit of trivia that I didn't realise until just now. Both horses from the Waikato stud start with a D. Their first part of their name starts with a D. The second part of their name starts with an R. Danish Rock, Del Rios.
Yes. Well done, Professor.
Hadn't realised that until now.
well, no one said that you weren't onto it, Professor.
Eventually.
Eventually. You may get to them, but, certainly, well, they both did all right for us, so we were quite happy with both of them. What
exactly,
could have been, I suppose, could have been a little bit better. But anyway, we'll see how we go. But tomorrow we will go marry Eliza, by Super Smith. This horse has had 4 starts for a win, a second and a third, Professor. A bit over 60,000 in prize money. But look, what I will say about it, Professor, in this race over over the distance, over a mile, the 1600. Its last run, a little disappointing, but having a look at the race replay, didn't have the best of luck. So hoping for an improved run. A 1-3 starts back. You can get round about the 380 at the moment, $4, Professor. So I think it will be a good each way bet for our parlays. So my first tip is race 6, number 11, Mary Eloise. Then I'm going the last race, Professor, race 9, horse number 10, Pivot City. This horse is trained by, again, another one of your trainers, Professor, Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. Look, it's been in pretty good form, this horse, Professor. 13 starts for 3 wins, over $168,000, getting up towards that 200,000. Finished very solidly to place in the Bendigo meeting, the standalone meeting before that. Before that was second at Moonee Valley, beaten under a length. So, again, good consistent form. Again, round about that $384 mark, Professor. So I think it can improve tomorrow, and we'll be going race 9, number 10, Pivot City. So my 2 picks, Professor, race 6, number 11, Mary Eloise, and race 9, number 10, Pivot City. And you like?
Yeah, Gelding, you're right. I'm going earlier than you. Not race 1, though. Staying away from race 1, giving you a little bit of time to put the bets on tomorrow. I like a horse in race 2, Gelding, the Make Good Solutions handicap. It's a benchmark 84 for 3-year-old horses and above, over 2,400 metres. In this one, Gelding, I like horse number 6 for Nao, coming out of barrier 9. 16 starts for 3 wins and 8 placings, so a 19% win rate, 69% place rate. It's a Frankel Gelding, so it has class in the pedigree, no doubt about that.
Oh, well, no better horse than Frankel, Professor.
Exactly, Gelding. And this campaign, the horse has had 4 starts for 2 wins and 2 seconds. So it's a very impressive campaign so far, including a win at Sandown a few weeks ago. I also like that it's won over the distance, Gelding, so that proves it can stay in a race. And at 2,400 metres, that's what you want. And it's only carrying 54 kilos, so the weight's very kind to it. The danger, I think, is the top weight, Gelding, Zuyab, coming off a Warrnambool race, but it's well up in the weight.
Oh, well, that would have been a pretty hard run last time at Warrnambool. I saw that race, the Warrnambool Cup. The track was a heavy 8 that day, so it might have taken a bit out of it. But anyway, we'll see tomorrow.
We will, Gelding, we will. And the second selection is in race 5, the Summit Concepts Merchandise Handicap. Benchmark 78 for fillies and mares over 1,400 metres. I like in this race, Gelding, number 6, Extreme Virtue. Not just Virtue, Extreme Virtue.
I like your choice here, Professor.
Coming out of barrier 4, had the 7 starts for 4 wins and 2 placings, Gelding. So it's only been out of the money once. 57% win rate, 68% or 86% place rate. Sorry about that. Resuming after a spell, it won 3 from 3 in its last campaign. It's won at the track. It's won over the distance. It's won first up, and it's won at the class level. So there's quite a few boxes it ticks for us in our filters, Gelding. So I can understand why you like this one as well. It's also trialled well too, Gelding. It's won both of its trials, so doing very well. And as I said, only out of the money once. And Gelding, what I like about this, very good each way odds. Currently showing $7.50 and $2.60.
I like it, Professor. I think it's a very, very smart bet. I suppose you're getting those odds because the favourite is number 8, Serious Statement, which is also chasing 3 wins in a row. But, geez, the way the Hayes boys are training, Luke Curry aboard, 3 wins last campaign. Can you do much better than that, Professor?
Well, you can't, and it sort of points to the horse will have some success. And, as I said, only once out of the money, so thinking that it could well be certainly in the first 3 tomorrow, Gelding, and we hope that's the way it stands after the running of race 5. So my 2 for tomorrow, race 2, horse 6, Fineo, and race 5, horse 6, Extreme Virtue. Now, let's turn to the Professor's Parlay. Last week, the horse that you and I both thought would do very well in race 4, Gelding, no strings attached. You had a look at the steward's report and it jarred up.
Yes, Professor, your tips last week, and both of them were mentioned quite regularly in the steward's report, saying that they didn't handle the ground, and the jockey said with no strings attached that the horse just wouldn't stretch out on that harder going and would certainly prefer a softer track. So, as we said, we don't make excuses. We're just giving reasons on why these horses didn't perform as well as we expected, Professor, because I suppose when we're looking at them, you know, we don't, coming out now on a Friday afternoon, we don't know what the track's going to be like in 24 hours. So, you know, we're relying on, the ability of, there's a few assumptions we make. The track will be fair for all horses and give them runs, and the jockeys will give them all good rides. So,
yes, I think we can say, using the parlance of the stewards, Gelding, it didn't perform to market expectations.
One of your favourite sayings, Professor. I tend to use the different words, yeah, which we can't say during the thing. But look, if we just explain to the listeners, sometimes there's reasons why these horses. Don't worry, we weren't impressed, you know, when the horse didn't finish off the race and was just jogging to the line. But now we know there is a reason for that and why the jockey didn't force the issue. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a horse. So, yeah, a reason for it.
Yeah, exactly, Gelding.
Yeah.
So that makes us 8 from 20 for the year. We're still at 40%, so we're holding on to that 40%. As long as we don't go into that, I'll be happy at the moment.
Well, mate, as I keep saying, 40% still good value.
All right, Gelding, this week's Professor's Parlay. We're going to Caulfield, race 9, horse number 10, the agreed bet of the day, Pivot City, for all the reasons that you mentioned before. And we'll parlay that into the AFL, Brisbane Lions to beat North Melbourne, being played in Hobart, Gelding. The Brisbane Lions second on the ladder. They've won 4 out of their last 5. They've won 7 from 8 so far this season. They're certainly defending their premiership very, very well at the moment. They're averaging 90 points per game in the 4 category, so that's not too bad. North Melbourne having a season to forget, 17th. They certainly don't seem to have improved since last year. They've only won 1 out of their 8 games, Gelding. They're letting in 108 points per game. So I can't see them beating Brisbane. The line is 36.5, so the bookies think that Brisbane are at least a 6-goal better side, even though North Melbourne are playing in Tasmania.
Professor, beautifully explained, and I agree. Any side that lets in over 100 points on average a game, they're not going to win games. Like, if your opposition kicks 15 goals, they're going to win. Yeah, if they kick 100 points, they're going to win. And I found that very good explaining Richmond to me last week, Professor, when you said, when they're letting in over 100 and they're only kicking 10 goals themselves, you just can't win games of footy.
Yes, exactly right, Gelding. I did see an interesting stat on for and against, though, on social media yesterday, that Melbourne finished on the bottom of the ladder. It was in the late 70s, finished on the bottom of the ladder. They had a look at the points that they kicked for. That team kicked more points than the Melbourne team that finished on top of the ladder in 2021.
Wow.
Yet they finished on the bottom of the ladder and only won 3 games.
Okay, but must have been...
just shows how things have changed.
I would, if they kick more than that, Professor, and that was a very good side in 21, their defence back then in the 70s must have let a few in.
Oh, it was horrible, Gelding. It was horrible.
Was that the Ray Biffin years or the Stephen Smith years?
Well, Stephen Smith was playing then, so he was down in defence then.
Yes.
Playing in the number 35 Guernsey. 35.
Oh, did he get 20?
No, he went down to number 1 at the end.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes. So soon to be president of the Melbourne Football Club, Gelding.
Yes, soon to be back, and we'll
president-elect.
President-elect, yeah, I like it. We'll just take a holiday over in Italy for a while, eh?
Well, I was just thinking, Gelding, when Stephen Smith becomes president of the MCC, do you think we'll get an invite to the Melbourne President's Luncheon?
You're funny.
Crikey, Gelding, I thought the screen had frozen.
You're funny, Professor. You're funny. And don't call me Smitty.
Might we be the last 2 on his invite list?
Just don't call me Smitty.
Oh, I hope he watches this. Steve, we want an invite. Come on.
Yeah.
All's forgiven.
All's forgiven. I know, but look, big things happening there. It'll be interesting to see whether your Melbourne Football Club and Stephen's Melbourne Football Club, joins with our Melbourne Racing Club. And, I think it would be a fantastic boost for the area around Caulfield.
Yeah.
If you had Melbourne, that structure in the middle is filled out with football clubs for the Melbourne Football Club to come. Because going back to the 70s, Professor, this was their zone.
That's exactly right, Gelding. Exactly right. All right, so Brisbane Lions to beat North Melbourne. We'll parlay that into Gelding. Hold on to your seats. I hope you're sitting down. We're going to the EPL.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we're going to the EPL.
A draw, are we?
Sorry?
We're backing a draw?
No, we're not. We're backing Manchester City to beat Southampton.
Oh,
and I'll tell you why, Gelding. Hopefully Southampton haven't bought a couple of buses to park across the goal face. Manchester City are third. They've won 19 out of 35. They've won 4 out of the last 5. They've scored 10 goals in the last 5 games and only had 3 scored against. Southampton, they'll be relegated at the end of the season. They're last. They've lost 4 out of the last 5, and the one out of the 5 wasn't a win, it was only a draw. They've only scored 3 in the last 5 games, Gelding. The draw is $8. Southampton wins $14 in a 2-horse race. So I don't think the bookies are thinking that it'll be a draw or a win to Southampton.
Professor, can you tell me what happened last time you went to soccer?
It was unsuccessful, Gelding. No, I think the last time was successful. The time before that was unsuccessful.
Okay. And what was the time before said, I won't be backing them again?
Yeah, well...
But
I've succumbed again, Gelding, so we'll see how we go. Anyway, the Professor's parlay tomorrow is race 9, horse 10, Pivot City into Brisbane Lions to beat North Melbourne, into Manchester City to beat Southampton. So plenty to talk about there, Gelding. We certainly can talk when we want to.
Yes, Professor. Certainly can. So I will watch this Professor's parlay with great interest tomorrow. When is the soccer game?
Sunday night, I think, Gelding.
Sunday night. So we've got 2 sleeps, to get through. Okay. I'll have nightmares about it.
Well, you'll have nightmares and I'll be on tenterhooks until then.
Beautiful, Professor.
All right, Gelding, until next Saturday, and that's racing. It's good luck. Yep.
Can I just give a couple for...
sorry, Gelding. Yes,
tomorrow?
Morphettville tomorrow. You had a couple of sneaky selections. Yes, thanks for reminding me.
Yes, one with your favourite trainer, who I think you might have shared a frothy one with on Thursday, did you? Or
No, he was coming out of the bar while I was going in.
Oh, right, okay.
Wasn't enough time to exchange even a tip or two.
Okay. Well, I reckon this is Phil Stokes, who's the leading trainer, even though he trains at Pakenham, is the leading trainer in Adelaide, Professor.
He's doing a good job.
Doing a great job. I like his horse, Aaron Bay, race 6, number 2. And the Group 1 tomorrow over there, very hard to go past Giga Kick, race 8, number 7, with bit of a saver probably on Charmstone in that race. But Aaron Bay and Giga Kick will be 2 legs of a parlay I might be having over there, Professor.
All right. Well, there's a couple of bonus selections there for the viewers who waited till the end of the program. Gelding, thanks very much for those. Until next week, it's good luck.
And good punting.